Hi everyone, in today's video I'm pulling the engine out of my Citroen XM. The car itself has done now 420,000 kilometers and in typical PRV fashion it's leaking oil pretty much everywhere. So I decided to remove the engine to make it once again leak free. The first thing to remove is the front end, and I have made a separate video about it, and link to that is in this video. It's also true that the engine can be removed without removing the front end, but this way you have more space to work with. Now I'm removing the engine wiring harness. Don't be like me and try not to break the relay holders. Now let's remove the air filter box. Protect the intake with something. I'm using a glove. Now is a good time to release the hydraulic pressure. Remove the pressure regulator return hose from the LHM filter housing. Remove this bolt and the hydraulic line bracket. Then detach the return hose from the regulator. The next step is to remove the LHM reservoir, which is held in place by a bolt and quick connector, and remove the hydraulic pump feed line. Now you can move the LHM reservoir, which is unnecessarily fiddly, perhaps for sadistic reasons. And now you can place the LHM filter housing on the milk container. Detach the AC dryer from the battery tray and remove the plate that holds the coil and the ignition module. Remove the battery tray. It's held in place by 3 bolts, some of which are quite tricky to get at. Now let's take a moment to talk about these big connectors. If yours is an automatic, there are 3 connectors, but if yours is a manual, there are only 2 connectors. And if yours is an automatic, just pay attention which way those brown connectors go, because they can be mixed up. Sometimes getting these connectors unplugged can be a bit fiddly. Drain the coolant from the engine by opening the drain plug behind the engine block. After draining the coolant, remove the heater hoses. Now we can remove 2 Speedo cables, one for the Speedo and one for the governor. Remove the gear selector cable by undoing 2 bolts and simply twisting the ball joint. Remove the 2 earth cables from the inner fender. Mark and disconnect the fuel lines, and then remove the map sensor. Disconnect the throttle cable. Next, remove the radiator by removing the hoses from the radiator end and the line from the expansion tank. Oh, and by the way, you might want to drain your radiator. As you can see, the transmission oil cooler is already loose, and now I'm going to remove the supply line for the brake accumulator. This video is going to be way too long, so I'll just show you what needs to be removed to get the driveshafts out. Disconnect the track rod ends, drop links, lower ball joints, and undo the hub nuts, and then remove the driveshaft bearing from the right side. At this point, you should have your engine hoist fitted, and then remove the engine from its mounts. I removed the entire transmission mount, which is held in place by 4 bolts, and you guessed it, 2 of them are tricky to get at. Lift the engine slightly, remove the engine mount to gain access to the auxiliary belt tensioner, loosen the tensioner and remove the belt. And the last thing, remove the compressor itself and hang it on the firewall. Now you should be able to slide the engine close to the ABS block and carefully lift the engine off the car. Pay close attention to the hydraulic lines. Don't ask me how I know. And huge thanks goes to my brother. Without him, there's no way I could have pulled this off. Book time for this job was around 12.5 hours, and I started this at 7 PM and the engine was in the garage by 9 AM with 1 coffee break, so not bad, I'd say. Now I continue to remove the transmission, and there's nothing special, so let's end this here. Thanks for watching.